XRP passive buyers coming in and staying consistent with buying up XRP and holding us above $3. The formation is still very bullish, and we're actually getting set up right now for that next leg to a $4 XRP new official all-time high is coming in. And we're going to be talking about the SEC Chair Paul Atkins dropping his new crypto policy on how he can bring all markets on chain, with additional insights into the crypto ETF blueprint approval process that they've laid out. This is going to allow us to hone in on that time frame for the XRP ETFs going live. So stick around for the full update. I'm going to try to keep it quick, and we will be back live tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern for our full live show. So please prepare your questions and comments. We'll be making sure that we cover the Q&A in tonight's live. Looking forward to it. Now, starting off here, we got the update from Trump. Jerome, too late pal, has done it again. He is too late and actually too angry, too stupid, and too political to have the job of Fed chair. Wow. He is costing our country trillions of dollars, in addition to one of the most incompetent or corrupt renovations of a building, and that's plural with an S, in the history of construction. Jerome didn't like it when he brought up that other building, right? There's, 2-3 buildings that he's got there? Put another way, too late is a total loser, and our country is paying the price. Now, this was put out by Trump this morning after yesterday the Fed and Jerome Powell held rates where they were at. They did not give us the rate cut, and this is what we were expecting. I was totally expecting the Fed to stick it to, President Trump here once again, and that's what they did. So in the meantime, we have President Trump calling out the Fed, kind of exposing the Fed, Thomas Massie saying that we need to end the Fed, and I think that, it's just beautiful to see the conversation finally taking place. I think with, this issue with the Fed, with crypto adoption and everything, for me and many of you guys, it's just like, yeah, we've been trying to have this conversation. Can we move the process along a little bit faster now? Not only should we already have an audit of the Fed, I believe that the results from that audit would lead many Americans to be calling for, just like we have been, the abolishment of the Federal Reserve and the entire, the entirety of that entity just being completely removed. But I'm remaining hopeful that the process is underway, and at least the conversation is starting. A conversation with the president of Mexico and President Trump took place today. They did agree to extend their current tariff arrangement for another 90 days. So we're extending that arrangement with China, with Mexico. New tariffs have been implemented. I forgot the countries that just got announced over the past couple of days. More trade deals coming in. And these all should be bullish catalysts for this market. There's no reason why the market should be hanging out sideways or even coming down right now, other than it's just market maker manipulation. I think that they're baiting people into selling off their XRP, which they're being successful in doing so, and also getting people to go short XRP, and those traders are going to get wrecked on that trade. I'll talk more on that here later. Now, we did get the US GDP rising by 3%, and this is the Q2 GDP that just got released yesterday. But don't be fooled, the devil's in the details. The headline hides a fragile economy propped up by tariffs and a sharp drop in imports. And I'm just going to summarize basically what happened here. If I scroll on down here, this is what GDP is made up of: consumer spending, investment, government spending, exports, and then you minus the imports. And so here's where it comes in, right? In Q2, imports plunged by 30.3%, the biggest quarterly drop since the depths of the 2020 situation. So you got an annualized increase of 3% on GDP, which sounds healthy. On the surface, it looks great. And President Trump and this administration, they can tout it. Strong economy, right? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And I'll call out this administration when it's appropriate to do so. And this is an economic data point that we're going to have to do so. We're going to have to call this out because we don't have a strong economy. We don't have a strong Main Street. What we have is 30% less imports in the previous quarter. And that's why our GDP is positive. Because you have all of those things that you add up: consumer spending, investment, government spending, and exports, minus what? Imports. Well, if you're importing 30% less, that GDP is going to see a little bit of a pop. So the devil's in the details. Once again, when you decode this economic data, we're going to continue to do it over here. No BS. I don't care if it's left, right, Trump, Biden, who it is. The economic data is a sham. Has been, continues to be. Let's not play around. Let's get real. And so we'll continue to call that out for you guys. That's what we do here on this show. Now, let's get into the good stuff. And let's get bullish, huh? What do you say? SEC Chair Paul Atkins unveils Project Crypto, a commission-wide push to modernize securities rules and move the U.S. financial markets on-chain. They're going to tokenize everything. They're bringing it all on-chain. And what a complete shift from the previous administration, the previous SEC that was trying to stifle innovation. I got to give credit to Paul Atkins. He is moving this along. I would just like it to be a lot faster. And I think it's pretty disgraceful that they're allowing in-kind redemptions on the Bitcoin and Ethereum spot ETFs before we have spot ETFs for XRP, Solana, and some of these other cryptos. The Ethereum and Bitcoin free pass first mover advantage continues. It's absolutely corrupt and wrong. And I think that it's absolutely backwards that the new guidelines that they're going to propose here, the streamlined process for getting ETFs approved. I'm glad that they're providing this. I'm glad that the goal is to make us the crypto capital of the world. But there is some problems here, which is, why do we need 6 months of futures activity before the spot ETFs can go live, right? And this is exactly what they're laying out here. Eric Balchunas, the SEC's listing standards for crypto ETPs is out via new exchange filing, and the bottom line is that any coin that has futures tracking it for greater than 6 months on Coinbase Derivatives Exchange would be approved. Below is the list. It's about a dozen of the usual suspects, the same ones that we had 85% or above in our odds for approval. Question still, though, is timing. Likely September, October for all of them. Greg has a good thread below with some lawyer-y details. And so you got XRP, Nano XRP, Cardano, Hedera, Solana, Stellar, Chainlink, Avalanche, SHIB, Polkadot, Dogecoin, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, Ether, Perpetual Styles, Nano Ether, and additional Bitcoin ETFs, Bitcoin futures products. Obviously, Bitcoin and Ethereum are the only spot ETFs for any digital assets right now, other than basket ETFs. I think even the Bitwise one was delayed as well, too. So it really is just a first mover's advantage for Bitcoin and Ethereum. And in my opinion, it's completely backwards that we have futures and leverage products available first before we have spot products. Now, I understand why they want a healthy futures market, to provide more liquidity, more access, and the ability to hedge your positions. It does make a more healthy and robust market, but why not? I mean, why? Why do we need 6 months of the futures activity when we have a decade of XRP trading in the spot markets and in perpetual futures markets outside of the United States? I just don't think it's necessary. And so I think that, it's great to see that they're streamlining the process. They're laying out a listing standards, check all these boxes, and you'll be able to go live. But the problem is, you still have the 6 months of runway for futures before they'll go live with spot. And I just question why. And once again, although this might seem bearish, although this might seem like they're still suppressing and holding it back, and they are, that's what this is. And although it kind of sucks that the XRP ETFs are going to be going live at the same time as you'll be able to get access to SHIB, for crying out loud. It's an absolute joke. Dogecoin will have an ETF. SHIB will have an ETF on the day that XRP gets an ETF. It's an absolute joke, but utility wins in the end. And the best projects will win in the end once we finally do get that level playing field. And those inflows are going to pour into XRP like never before. Despite all of this suppression, despite the first mover advantage for Bitcoin and Ethereum, it actually works out better because people can take profits on Bitcoin and Ethereum, roll it into XRP. People will look at the list of all this other crap that they could invest in, like Avalanche, SHIB, and Dogecoin, Litecoin, and they'll say, no, thank you, but I will invest in that XRP spot ETF. So despite everything that they've thrown up against us, it will not stop the massive amount of inflows coming into XRP that do lead to a double-digit price. And now we can hone in because we know that the Tucrium, Sal Gaberte with the 2XRP ETF, that went live in April. The CME went live in May. And so this pushes us out to September and October, which is the final deadlines for the XRP spot ETFs for their approval. So I'm here to say once again, with 100% certainty, that we are going to get these ETFs live by October. 100% going to happen because we have all of the boxes are checked off and we will have had 6 months of futures trading and futures exposure for XRP. So everything will be done. The SEC case will be dropped as well too. That appeal is going to be dropped shortly. It's all going to happen 100%. And so what do? I don't give financial advice, but I just show you guys and tell you guys what I'm doing, and that's investing in the inevitable. And it's inevitable that the SEC drops their appeal. It's inevitable that the ETFs go live. And I think it's a very conservative assumption to assume 5 to 10 billion of net inflows will come into the XRP ETFs year one. I think that it's very reasonable to expect XRP price to go well into the double digits based off of those inflows. 2 + 2 still equals 4, even in Common Core new math. Okay? Now, the beautiful part about this is we have folks that are now opening up their minds to what XRP is really intended for. And folks are starting to get a little bit more comfortable having conversations with XRP at higher prices. Now, do I think that XRP is going to some 3, 4, 5 digits this year? I don't see it happening. I would love to be wrong. I would be thrilled to be wrong because we will profit so well. We are positioned so perfectly to be wrong on this assumption. I don't see a $100 or $1,000 XRP this year. I don't. But is it going to happen eventually? Well, folks are starting to have this conversation. Neatsbucks makes the point that I'm trying to say right here. $1,000 per XRP predictions used to mean that you were seen as a lunatic. Now it can come with Ripple partnerships. I'm a big fan of you guys and respect what you're doing. Genuine, positive, smart, and bullish builders in the XRP Ledger ecosystem. Let's build the utility to get there. And he's responding to Dom Easy A, who threw out the $1,000 XRP prediction on Wall Street. That was earlier this week. And they literally just headed up a next generation of founders building on the XRP Ledger little deal that they had. They were a mentor chosen by Ripple to lead the next generation of builders in the XRP Ledger ecosystem. So for all those people that said that I should be shut down, I shouldn't have a YouTube channel for talking about XRP going to even $20, let alone 1,000. For all those people that said that anybody else that talked about $1,000 XRP should be deplatformed. For all the crypto Twitter police that tried to shut everybody down and tried to tell people that they shouldn't have their First Amendment right to speak freely about their XRP price predictions. Not only were you in the wrong then, you continue to be in the wrong now, and we now see that Ripple is not afraid to partner up and choose these guys that are talking about $1,000 XRP by 2030 to mentor the next generation of founders building on the XRP Ledger. So what does that say? If Ripple's not willing to shun that, call that out, and say, no, you guys stop that now. Dom, Phil, let's rein that back in, boys. That's not happening. That's not happening at all. In fact, they're leaning into this partnership with Dom, Phil, and Easy A. What does that say? Why is Ripple not telling these guys to pipe down? Makes you wonder a little bit, doesn't it? Now, when it comes to securing your XRP, whether it's going to $10 or $1,000, I'll let you guys comment down below. But when it comes to securing it, I do want to let you guys know that Decent Wallet is one of my favorite wallets right now, and they are including the integrations for Flare, celebrating Flare's 3rd anniversary. They are proud to support the Flare ecosystem. You can wrap your Flare, delegate, and earn rewards. You can auto-claim your Flare drops, and you are completely ready for F assets and DeFi using Decent Wallet. So love to see it. Keep that bag secure. Everybody and their brothers coming for your XRP. Please be safe. Okay, but I like to see this integration with Flare. So if you did want to use, your XRP to delegate into the Flare ecosystem and earn some rewards, I'm going to be watching that opportunity very closely. You'd be able to do so within the Decent Wallet. So you keep, your keys, your crypto. You're going to be holding your crypto the entire time, full control, while being able to go delegate and participate in that DeFi. Love to see it. Now, and I'll just tell you guys what I've been doing, right? I've been sending all my XRP lately to only one platform and one platform only, and it's Caleb and Brown. I haven't been sending my XRP anywhere else. And a lot of people want our XRP. I'm not sending it anywhere else. I've only been sending it to Caleb and Brown, and I wanted to let everybody know that you are under a U.S. entity if you are a U.S. client of Caleb and Brown. Many people are worried because they think, oh no, Caleb and Brown's based out of Australia. And we could give a whole session about what's wrong with Australia, their government, and the draconian things that they've been implementing over there. But fear not, because Jim provides a little bit of clarity here. Our U.S. clients fall under the Caleb and Brown U.S. incorporated entity, and we have an office within the United States. So we are U.S. based, and nobody else is providing free institutional grade custody with transparent fees, no withdrawal fees or limits. And this is why I'm setting up over there. I'm putting XRP on that platform that's not my long-term holdings. I'll use a cold storage like Decent or others to bury it in my backyard, as I like to say. Because that's what I'm doing with most of my XRP. It's just buried in the backyard. But for what I plan on selling this bull run and trading this bull run, it's only going to one place right now, and it's Caleb and Brown. For the reasons that I just mentioned. They now have the U.S. entity. They have transparent fees. You know what your fee is going to be. No slippage. No withdrawal fees. No withdrawal limit. So if you're like me and you're trying to cash out some big ones this bull run, you need a partner that's going to help you get it done. And you'd be surprised how bad these exchanges are going to hit you on slippage and spreads when it comes to trading your cryptocurrencies, especially on these altcoins. Not good. Not good. So just wanted to let everybody know there that they do have the U.S. entity. I wish that they had service for Canada and UK. They're working on that. But just to clarify that, if you are a U.S. client of theirs, you are under the U.S. entity. Now, Dom, TraderView 2, this is where I got the title of today's video, the passive buyers coming in. This is from yesterday. We saw a large magnitude of liquidation pressure get absorbed. Typically, when I see this, the scenario means one of two things. One, passive buyers are willing to absorb, and we found the low of this multi-week consolidation. Or two, it's a temporary liquidity vacuum bounce, and a large structural breakdown is soon to come. Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP liquidations visualized below. Here are the charts. There is Ethereum. Right there is XRP. And then you have it on Bitcoin. Now, in my opinion, we are seeing the first option. Passive buyers are willing to absorb, and we found the low of this multi-week consolidation. Let's go to the XRP chart right now. Right in here, this is why the wall. We have a buy wall of passive buyers. And this is, folks are doing what I've been doing, where you just load up these exchanges, you load up your platform, you put your cash on there, you set your orders, you set it and forget it. This is exactly what I've been doing too. And you tell your broker at Caleb and Brown, hey, when XRP gets to $3, load up the truck, and they just fill you up. And whether it be Caleb and Brown, whether it be these other exchanges, this is what our community's been doing. And I've been talking to a lot of people that are still allocating large amounts to XRP at these levels. And we're just seeing it in the order books more broadly, right? Not just our community, but everybody else wants to get XRP as low as possible. And the problem is it's just not pushing back below $3 with any strength, because these passive buyers have established a foundation, a wall that is holding very well. And, I love it. I can tell when we're about to have our next leg higher when everybody is asking me, what's going to be the lows? Zach, what's going to be the lows? Zach, it just went to $3. Is it going lower? And I just calmly reply, no, it's not, because the buy wall is there. I'm getting asked by you and thousands of people what the floor is going to be. How low is XRP going to go? Which tells me there's too many people looking to buy. It ain't going much lower. Okay? So don't be too greedy. Don't be too bearish. Don't be listening to all these people that, want to be negative about price action lately when we literally were just at $1.90 last month. People forget that we were back below $2 last month. And now we have a consolidation above $3 and people get worried. Don't get left behind, please. All right. Now, all of our community resources are available at zachrector.com. I have some quick links down below. In tonight's live show, I am going to be giving away some XRP family hats. I'm excited to get this one listed. These are not available yet, but coming soon. Stay tuned for that. But we are going to be giving away some XRP family hats tonight, 10 p.m. Eastern. Hope to see you there. God bless all of you guys, and thank you for the support.